Sanemi is probably the most misunderstood and easily understood character in the entire series, and when you look at his past, you can see exactly why he acts the way he acts today. Usually when I want to do a full breakdown on a character, I take a look at their past, and that is exactly what we will be doing with Sanemi, because in my opinion, to understand the way he is, why he does what he does, is very important to go back. Before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel as I do all types of Demon Slayer content on the channel. Sanemi grew up with an abusive father who used to hurt him and his siblings, their mother included. One day, their mother was stabbed to death, and the young Sanemi and Kenya vowed to each other that they would protect their family. Sanemi, being the oldest, had a tremendous responsibility not to only be a good role model for his younger brothers, but to also protect them. One day, their mother failed to return home, and Sanemi, being the oldest, went out to look for her, only to find out that she had become a demon. Now, Sanemi really cared about his mother as she was the only parent he had, understandably, and you can only imagine how devastated he was to see his mother turn into a demon. Even as a young kid, he understood real quick that the monster that was standing in front of him was no longer their mother. But Sanemi failed to stop her from returning home and killing 5 of his siblings. Before she can kill Kenya, however, Sanemi tackles her and saves Kenya. During this tussle, she gave him the large scar across his face that we see with him today. And because of his Marichi blood, which intoxicates demons, he was able to find an opening and kill their mother, and killed their demon-turned mother to protect his last sibling he had, which was Kenya. But at the time, Kenya didn't realize that the monster that attacked earlier was indeed their mother and had stumbled across Sanemi on the street with a knife at hand and their mother dead in his feet. Kenya goes into complete shock and blames the death of their mother onto Sanemi. And Sanemi, because of this very tragic event, was sent into a complete and utter shock to the point where he became partially colorblind as he watched their mother dissolve into the sun. Sanemi after that would go out to hunt demons with suicidal devotion, with no purpose and no direction in life, until he runs into a demon slayer named Masachika. Masachika would introduce Sanemi to the demon slayer corps and would explain to him what nutrient plays are and all the rankings within the Demon Slayer Corps, and the two would become very close, to the point where Sanemi would even mention to Masachika that whenever he went to get treated by Kanai in the butterfly state, her hand felt motherly, basically telling him about how he had a crush on Kanai. One day, in order to become a Hashira, the two would go on a mission to defeat a lower moon, in which during the mission, Masachika would lose his life. Sanemi then goes on to defeat the lower moon thanks to the sacrifice of Masachika, and would take out his frustration and anger on Kakeya Obeshiki, telling him that he doesn't have a backbone, and he sends his fighters and these young demon slayers to go out and do all the dirty work. Little did Sanemi knew that if Kaguya could have fought, he would have been the first one in the front line. Kanai was there to comfort the angry Sanemi, telling him that even though their master Kaguya doesn't go into battle, he still tends to remember every single demon slayer that had lost his life. A little after that, another tragic event would happen, and of course that was the death of Kanai. Sanemi had a crush on Kanai, and let me know if you guys want a full video on that ship. I can do it. And of course, even though not confirmed in the story or even in the light novels, we can assume that this would make Sanemi's anger even more for the demons. And knowing all this we know now, it makes perfect sense, and seeing Sanemi react the way he did with Nezuko, not believing that a demon, knowing very well what demons were capable of, would just simply not harm a human, to the point where he acts out of line and stabs Nezuko. Sanemi had hoped if he was harsher to Kenya, that Kenya would lose hope and leave the Demon Slayer Corps so he does not get killed. Because if you remember, Kenya joined only to get closer to his brother. And Tanjiro was able to sense quickly that the anger coming from Sanemi towards Kenya was out of a place of love, which is exactly why I was really glad that Sanemi was the one to save Kenya in the final battle. Okay, major spoilers from this point on. The death of Kenya without a doubt had broken Sanemi, as he bursted into tears begging God and crying to take him instead of his younger little brother, to basically save his younger brother. And this just showed me that Sanemi has such a big heart and is a really good written character. Even though he was introduced to us to be this great warrior who literally has zero flaws and worries and is really rough. Seeing him break down in front of his little brother and bawl his eyes out just goes to show that he really cared for his younger brother. He wanted his younger brother to get goddamn married, had goddamn kids, and grew up to be a goddamn old geezer, and that no matter what happened, he promised that he would have protected him from demons. I really wished we had gotten a cadence, just like Yojiro and Kiyu's, of what happened to Sanemi after the story had ended, or even his time as a demon slayer and his interactions with Kanai. Sanemi's life was filled with sufferings and losses until the very end. At a young age, he killed his mother because of her turning into a demon and had witnessed her massacre 5 of his siblings, and the only sibling he had left blamed her death on him, even though he was protecting him. Then he lost a very close friend in Masachika, and then someone whom he liked and had a crush on, Kanai, was also slaughtered by a demon. And finally, at the end, he lost his dear younger brother without having the chance to have a full conversation and become brothers again. What do you think of Sanemi? Does this make you respect him more as a character? Do you like him more now, or is he still on your bad list? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.